5 reasons you shouldn't become a plumber? Whew, I'm going for blood on this one. Let's talk about it.
I'm Kenny Molotov, licensed plumber, professional magician, and entertainer. On this channel, I go through the ins and outs of my career in plumbing. I take you through a day in the life and we talk tools, theory, and mindset. I'm trying to give you an arsenal of knowledge and an online resource so you can take this trade head on and find yourself successful on the other end. Click subscribe, hit that bell notification, and let's talk pipes.
Peeps, Kenny Molotov. Please check out MolotovPlumbingAcademy.com so you can get courses that are specifically designed to help you succeed in your apprenticeship. Also, join the newsletter. That way you know when we have content coming out to you all, when new courses and new products are coming your way. So I wanted to tackle this subject. Why you shouldn't become a plumber. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive because I am a plumber. This is the career I dedicated myself to for the past 10 years, and I'm still going. Why would I ever tell you why you shouldn't become a plumber? Because, to be honest, there are some things that are very difficult about this career, and if you're not cut out for it, you shouldn't go into it. And that brings us to number 1. One of the reasons why you shouldn't become a plumber is because people aren't going to help you on the job site. Now, you are going to be given directions, you are going to be looked at over your shoulder, people are going to make sure that you're safe, but for the most part, when you're struggling, they're going to expect you to figure it out and get it done. Does that sound a little bit harsh to you? Like they expect you to put in the grunt work. They expect you to sweat. They expect you to get the task done because they themselves, the other people that are monitoring you and supervising you, also have tasks. It's not like they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs. No, you two are a team and they have a very difficult job themselves. Your journey person is going to have to do the hardest parts of the job. They're going to have to do the installation part of the job. They're going to have to do the soldering. They're going to have to get the job done. They got to supervise that it's done. They also have to make sure that they are up to code when it's done. They got to make sure everybody's safe. Like they have a lot of tasks themselves. If they turn and see you and you're struggling and you're working hard, a lot of the times they're just going to sit back and let you struggle and let you figure it out. And if you can't handle that, if that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, then that's not something you should probably get into because that's the way it is throughout the entire career. And just so you know, it doesn't stop at the apprenticeship. There comes a point where you're a journey person and you're going to struggle and you're going to sweat. And every single person around you, including the customer, is just going to sit back and watch you struggle. And the truth is that most of those people can't help you even if they wanted to help you. Do you understand? This is a difficult career and you need to have a fortified mind to be able to move forward in it. So when you're in your apprenticeship and your journey person turns to you and sees you struggling and just lets it happen, that's not because they're evil. It's not because they don't care. The reason why they're doing that is because they had to do that themselves to get competent. And in order to make sure you become competent, they got to take their hands off the tools and let you sweat, let you cuss, let you figure it out. Another reason why you shouldn't become a plumber, reason number 2, is because people expect you to be good. Listen, they don't expect you to be all right. They don't expect you to be adequate. They expect you to be good. You're going to be expected to be an authority on the subject. You're going to be expected to be good enough to figure out the problem. That doesn't mean necessarily right then and there, but they are expecting you to have the mental problem-solving abilities to be able to get to the answer of this problem. This means sometimes you're not going to know the answer and you're going to have to call up the supplier, figure out if they have anything on the market that might suit the current situation. You might have to call the manufacturer of whatever it is you're working on to ask them why this certain event is taking place. You have to be wise enough. You got to be smart enough. You got to have problem-solving abilities enough. You got to have enough humility to be able to say, I don't know what's going on, and go figure it out. Without that, if you can't do that, then you can't be good. So when people expect you to be good, they expect you to be able to do everything I just described, be able to get to that end result, to that final answer, and take all those steps necessary in order to go there. Because if you're the kind of person that sees a problem, can't handle it, and walks away, you are doing something called avoidance. And the more you avoid, the less competent you're going to be. So plumbers are expected to be good. And not only good, we're hoping to aim way higher than that. The bar is way above. We're expected to be great. The third reason why you shouldn't become a plumber is because people are going to call you on the weekends. Now, I know this might cut into your work-life balance. I totally appreciate that. And plumbers, when we get very good, we get calls on the weekend specifically for help. to help people out. That's something you have to understand. Inherently, by getting called on a weekend, a lot of that sometimes is one of the biggest compliments you can get, because people know you're good and people know you have the answers and people know you can solve the problem. And that's why getting called on the weekend, even though it might interfere with certain things, you have to recognize that the information that you have between your two ears is sought after from everybody in the entire nation. If you have functional indoor plumbing in your country and you're a licensed plumber, everybody at some point is going to need you. And whoever's in your inner circle or your customer circle is going to call you up and say, listen, I'm dealing with a major leak. Listen, I'm dealing with a major backup. Listen, I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z. Can you help me? And that's a very big responsibility, because functional indoor plumbing also keeps sanitation, right? The reason why we are so clean is because we are blessed with functional indoor plumbing. The environment would be much dirtier if we didn't have functional indoor plumbing, if we didn't have the ability to wash our hands, if we didn't have the ability to sanitize and clean our water. If we didn't have those abilities, we run into health risks. And because of that, the responsibility goes on your shoulders. So if that's too big of a responsibility for you, then this might not be the career for you, because people at some point will realize that they need your help and they're going to call you up when you least desire it. The fourth reason you shouldn't become a plumber is because you're going to have to learn how to engineer plumbing systems. Now, this is particularly true about Canadian plumbers, because we are blessed with the opportunity when we go to school to learn how to engineer plumbing systems. But here's what you have to realize. The moment you're taught how to engineer plumbing systems and you get your license, you now have a license to engineer plumbing systems, which means that if you don't follow the rules correctly, if you don't pull out your code book and figure out which rule takes precedence over the other, then you're going to be stuck in a situation where you are totally liable for every single pipe you put in the system. And if you accidentally, or God forbid purposely, put in the incorrect sizes, and they might put the plumbing system in danger, then people are going to be coming for you. Your name is on the docket, your name is on the invoice, your license is at risk at that point. So once you learn how to engineer plumbing systems, you have to realize the responsibility that takes place now, because now you are expected to be able to put in the appropriate pipe so that this family doesn't have plumbing issues down the road. Your plumbing work has to represent the code book, because the code book protects you. And if it represents the code book correctly, then you can walk away from that job feeling safe and secure, because God forbid if something does happen and somehow there are backups in this pipe, it's not because of malpractice. It's not because you didn't put the right pipes in. You put the right pipes in. You can now start figuring out what other variables are at play that are making this happen. And you can sleep peacefully at night because you know you took all the necessary steps to make sure this is a functional plumbing system. Now, if engineering a plumbing system sounds too great of a responsibility, if that sounds scary to you, then this might not be the career for you. The fifth and final reason you shouldn't become a plumber is because people are going to see you sweat and they're going to expect you to sweat. What that means is that this is hard work. There are days where you breeze by, and then there are days that kick your butt. They will have you sweating. They will make you feel discouraged. They will make you feel like you are a total amateur. I just want you to know, as a licensed journey person, there are still days where I get so defeated on job sites because everything seems to be working against you that I get discouraged, that I feel like a total amateur in certain moments. And those moments are few and far between now in my career, but every once in a while you get there. And do you know who comes to your aid when that happens? Nobody. The person in the mirror is the only person that comes to your aid. I know you got an infrastructure of people that support you. I can call my wife up and she can pat me on the back. I could call my best friends up, they could pat me on the back. But the only person getting through, the only person slugging through is you. And you are expected, A, to be able to answer the problems, to figure out the problems, or to go places where you can figure out the problems. And B, you're expected to sweat through it. Because at the end of the day, you are dealing with a plumbing system that usually a family needs, if not multiple family needs. And what that means is that there are tens, dozens, hundreds of people in some circumstances, hundreds of people relying upon you to be able to get the work done. When I say responsibility, that word is not a dirty word. That word is an honorable word. If people hold me responsible, it means that they depend on me. And I'm also a ranking member in their life, right? Remember, if people depend on you, you rank high. If people don't depend on you, you don't rank. You see what I'm saying? In order to keep people safe, we need to be good at what we do. You understand? So if that sounds like it's uncomfortable for you and you're not able to take that responsibility, this might not be the trade for you. I need you to understand for a second, though, what happens to you if you do take on all this responsibility. You will become a person where you don't require help when things get tough, right? When things get tough on the job site, people expect you to be able to do it. That means we are shaping you into an individual that when it gets tough, you're good. You can still keep pushing because you've done it before. When we expect you to be good, that means you are holding yourself up to a higher standard. You are going to become a person that takes in a lot of knowledge in order to be able to tackle all the problems that come your way. You become the kind of person that we can call on the weekends because we know you're good, because we know you know how to solve the problems, because we know you have the theoretical and the technical skills, which is probably the greatest compliment you can get when people call you on the weekend, right? They're basically saying, listen, I'm in a jam and you're the best person for this. You become the kind of person that knows how to engineer plumbing systems, that looks at a plumbing system and says, actually, this is an inappropriate fitting, or this is inappropriately sized. This is probably what's causing this entire backup constantly. And you become the kind of person that knows how to work hard, where it just becomes ingrained in your body, where you see that you have to dig up cement. You see that you have to walk into a major drain call, and it doesn't scare you. By taking on this trade and becoming all these different things and learning under all these circumstances, you become bulletproof. You know what I mean? You become solid. And if you become this kind of individual that can do all these things and it doesn't faze you, you become a ranking member of society because people need your help and you're able to do that. You're able to help them. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I wanted to describe the difficulties that you're going to have in this career, but the kind of person it'll make you once you learn how to deal with these difficulties.